people in later, within a short period of time. So the history of slaves is even a lie. The idea that slavery was past, and no, any point in history there was always slaves. So you can't say we were ever spiritual. In Atlantis, there was no such things as slaves. The only time it was like that, the only time the human race was spiritual. And that's why I ask people what spiritual means. If you're not aware of being alive in Atlantis, you don't know what it means. Oh, I love my family. Do you? How many people leave their family? How many people leave their children? How many people sell their children? How many people abuse their children? We're not in a spiritual place at all. With the amount of sales of children right now, when it breaks open, if this lady testify, you're going to see an earth-shattering record of millionaires being involved with this whole deal going down. I mean, when that person that was in jail was killed and they said he committed suicide, his jet was called whatever. It was a bad thing, like the sexual trip, but it was thoughts. But they had to kill him because these people already making too much money and in power. So the idea of the word spiritual doesn't exist right now. And any alien race is not here to teach us something spiritual. When they go on about races and who controlled and who created us, the Anunnaki telling a twisted story which certain people believe is so important, they're a horrible race to agree with or accept. They're not good. No race is good. I mean, they're here to experience what we are. They don't have feelings and emotions. So they do study us, the smaller races. They're not here to change us. They can't. They can't fight the reptilians and the Greys and the Anunnaki and the Nordics and even the tall whites. Well, the tall whites are so different than all the other races, and people don't even know much about them. So, again, we want to believe these stories. We want to believe something important, but we're not moving forward at any point in history. And if you look at society and look what's happening, we can be in World War II in the United States for the Civil War. And unless we enforce a law in the United States, people are giving in to certain races, which is a horrible thing to do, because basically the ones that they want Texas to have so that they can live and do whatever they want there is a threat. And they said if they don't get that, they will keep fighting and destroying. And the battles that are going on right now, it's nothing spiritual and has nothing to do with God, has nothing to do with people that are aware of spiritual truth because they don't have it or they wouldn't be moving into that. So we're at a sad place. We're at a critical point in the history of the human race, history of the planet. Russia's having a battle right now with China. I mean, there's so many things going on, and it has nothing to do with spiritualism. Nothing mankind has created or invented has anything to do with spiritualism. Nothing. Every alien abduction, every alien person that says they work with aliens, please come out with what to World War III and a civil war in the United States than any time ever in the past probably 100 years now, to a point where it's so close to happening. And when it does, it's not going to bring us any more further in the spiritual path. I wish it was different, totally different, but it's not. And I can only teach you to become aware of soul, because soul isn't programmed to be what mind tells it is. But man wants to believe that, oh, this, that, and the other thing. Those sounds and going into the alpha, beta, theta, and delta, it's all mind energy. And it's not bringing you to God. It's bringing you to an awareness, which is a programmed awareness, which mankind has accepted. Now moving and studying and listening to yourself. Of what? If you become aware of your past lives, that's listening to yourself as soul. If you don't know your past lives, you don't know what you are as soul even. If you don't know how to leave your body, you don't know what soul is. So the concept that aliens are teaching us that, they are not. And fifth dimensional and sixth dimensional beings, oh no, we don't become that. And the words that alien races talk with, guess what? It's all programmed, nothing beneficial. And why the government can't talk about races and can't admit what's happening, they want disclosure. Are they going to tell the world why they have disclosure? Why Truman said, okay, aliens, you could abduct people, but we want some more inventions from you? I mean, it was common sense of horrible things. Why Kennedy was really killed. why Marilyn Monroe was really killed. It was to keep the truth from coming out. All right? So when we talk about spiritualism, there's no place, no pope, no lama, no preacher, no minister, no rabbi can talk about a real God. Because they don't know it, they don't know what it means, and they only have a perception that was written in the Bible. Oh, it was teaching us about love. No, Jesus didn't teach about love. He wasn't saying, well, you love people by sitting down and kissing them, and you have sex with them, and you love them. No, Jesus wasn't teaching that. Never. I put my life on the line always. I talk about the truth that I experienced. I'm aware of my lifetimes back to Atlantis. Jesus was not teaching compassion. He showed compassion to his people, which they didn't show him back. He told them they were going to lie, and they didn't even believe they would lie, and they all did. So he had abilities, but he didn't use a lot of them. When he confronted Satan, which he did, the whole story about the 40 days and 40 nights, he was able to go beyond that. But Satan stayed here, and people believe I know people that say he's going to come back and destroy Satan. No, that's not going to happen. Jesus was never, Satan was. Jesus was a person, a spiritual being, the most spiritual person ever to walk this planet. Spiritual. But people did not understand what he was teaching. The same, he couldn't speak about God. Mankind wasn't ready to hear about a real God because they didn't understand what God was. He had to use simple words like Father. Everybody understood their Father. Well, that's how we compared God to it. But God was never a man. And when they say he was never a he. Every concept that mankind has accepted and twisted and programmed people with have nothing to do with a real God. God created hell for a reason. Soul has to become aware of what it is as a soul, not what other beings are, what the planet's going to become. The world will never be at peace. Never. The world will never accept the same God, ever. And that's why Satan's here. The aliens are under his control as well. So to think they're going to come here and help us, what, create another ship to go faster? We can go faster than the speed of light now. So what? We're going to go to another planet? Well, there's a main truth, and I'm going to say this before the show ends. There's underground cities in the United States. We have underground tunnels that go to other countries. People don't want to understand it or accept it and don't even know that it's real. It's real, people. What's that mean? They're preparing for what they are preparing for, and they can't tell the world. I mean, when Jesse Ventura exposed one of the underground cities, they said, look, we're only going to allow 10,000 people in this city before we close it. And he said, well, what about people coming? He said, there'll be no people coming towards it. And this was coming right out of the people. When he confronted the person in the White House about the HARP system, and then when they created it, he says, well, why would you create it? He said, well, we didn't know what they were really going to do with it. So everything that's happening has to do with government. It has to do with programming. It has nothing to do with spirituality. It has nothing to do with what preachers, ministers, and rabbis are teaching or training us with. We're being pulled into a horrible level. And if you can't see it, watch the news for a day. Watch what's happening to these countries or these cities right now, the past couple of days. I mean, they're smashing the cops up. They killed cops. They burnt down 250 churches. Did you hear that? Do you realize we're in a serious place in history right now that we have never been in? So to think that spiritualism is happening at any level, that there's a spiritual person explaining about God or even trying to, people are more concerned about getting their money check in the mail, which is, I even care if I get it or not. But you got the Democrats and Republicans fighting each other. They should be sticking up to the same thing. I mean, we should have people that are running to help save the human race, helping us as a human race, as a race in the United States anyway, not one race or one tribe or one believer. How many people believe in Trump? How many people believe in Obama? I mean, and now Biden and all these little things. We got serious problems, and nobody's talking about truth. No alien race is explaining why they're doing anything. You want the truth? Listen to my show on Tuesday. Listen to what aliens are actually doing. All right? She's one person that's been abducted half of her life, still is being abducted. And she has multiple proof that very few people have. I listen to these people. I remember when I was young, they had proof. of their child being abducted and taken away. There's nobody proving anything they say no more. I'm challenging all these people out there, from Corey Good to David Wilcox, and they're talking about rainbow body and all these things. They have no clue what they're talking about. We need to wake up right now, people. We don't have much time. And what's happening, there was a ship over Texas, I think, for the past night, and they're not saying what it is. Now they're going to probably say it's a Russian spaceship that's blowing up and traveling and everything else. But it's been there for 4 hours over this past night. The aliens are getting ready to do something as well. All right, whether it's going to be anything positive, which it won't be, which is going to be for real. I say, if you want to know what they're going to do, watch the movie V. That's as closest to the positive aspect you're going to get. They're going to pretend you're here for a reason. To help us what? That's a mission that's not going to be beneficial to the human race. I watched the UFO world. I did a show with, like I said, Laura Eisenhower, and we talked about it. And I went into things that nobody in the UFO world can talk about. The true mission of what happened in New York, in Montauk, in Montauk. All right, the MJ-12, the Philadelphia Experiment, the Montauk Project. I mean, there's two people that wrote books on them that talk about it, but they only know parts of the story. I was friends with Al Bierlich, and he told me they were going to kill him after a certain date. That week, about, 3 weeks before, we had the biggest blackout in the history of the United States. It was from Canada down to Florida, and not one person, no government person, no religious person, ever spoke about it. Nothing was ever said about it again. The vortex opened, and that's what's going to help destroy the planet. The government can't close it. I'm dealing with people that are dealing with the vortex, and they have it open. And they won't even get rid of the spirits and demons and entities that hang out there. People aren't ready for the truth. And they're going to deal with the lies that freaking all these people are giving everybody, telling us, oh, good things will happen. We're going to become this and that. TJ, show the world the evidence. We don't have any evidence. There's nothing spiritual going to happen. There's no space for it.
No, we've got, wrap it up.
2 minutes.
So you want to give them your Facebook or email?
All right.
Tell them how to get in touch with you.
Everybody, I'm going to be doing a show every Saturday night on a really big station. I'm doing a show every Tuesday. If you want anything about it, want to hear about it, Hawksblood1, AOL.com. My Skype, if you want to talk directly, Skype. My Skype name is Hawksblood11. Please, I only deal with truth. I can't deal with lies. I don't deal with people that lie. I have a hard time accepting, well, that's your truth. No, I look at reality. If your truth is true, it would fit into reality. If we were becoming spiritual, you would see it. There's no reflection of that. So please call me, text me, either way. I give my first 2 books away for free. Bud1, AOL.com, text me. I'll send you my first 2 books. I also have a book, How to See a UFO, which is a PDF file, and I'm giving that away free as well. So thank you. I hope you listened. If you did, I hope you got something out of it. I'm sure you probably don't agree with much, but that's your truth. Everybody says they have a truth. So with that, till next time, back to you, TJ. Thank you for today.